And we are honoring a wonderful, wonderful human being, Miss Leslie McGrath. And it is my honor to introduce you to the mistress of ceremony, and no, not Ann McGrath.
The chair of the board, Mary.
Oh, you're the chair of the board. Well, whatever your title is. Here she is!
Hi, everyone, and thank you. I'm Mary Ann Clements, chair of the board. And I first want to thank Siemens Bank for letting us have, again,
Hey, Siemens.
And since I'm mentioning Siemens Bank, I also want to let you know that Lori Meads is now the president and CEO of Siemens Bank.
Wow! Yeah! Congrats!
That was last Tuesday. So we also want to thank Connie's Bakery, Farlands, Lobster Pot, Yardem Liquors, and Elizabeth will talk about our volunteers a little bit later on. So we have to have a board meeting, a short board meeting, which is just basically approving our minutes from last month.
Oh, no, treasurer's report.
And the treasurer's report, exactly, that's after that. And then any other business we may have. So I'm going to ask the board members to come up.
Nancy, Lori, Amanda.
You have to get up here. So.
Lori, Amanda.
Lori, Amanda.
Can I help?
Who else? Ann, where's Ann?
1, 2, count up to 12.
Pam.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sue, Barbara.
Yep, Sue. Ann. Get on up there. I know you have to eat.
Pam's coming.
You get up there, Pam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So I'm going to do something a little different and have you introduce yourselves. So let's start right here.
Okay.
Pam Joel's boss.
Sue Roderick with a mouthful of lobster. Thank you, Joy, for feeding me.
As usual.
Lori Meads. Joy McNulty.
Susan Grace.
Nancy DeLuca.
And Amanda Kigot Pats.
Amanda Morris.
Barbara Knapp.
Maureen Dooley Lawrence.
Ann McGuire.
And I have to say it's an honor to work with these ladies on the board because we all pitch in, roll up our sleeves and pitch in and do a lot of work. And I also want to talk about our staff that we have. Elizabeth Garon is our executive director. And then we have Amy Howe, who's our office administrator, client advocate. And then Kat, come over here, Kat Black. Who is our volunteer coordinator. So if you want to volunteer, see that woman. We need volunteers to take our clients to their appointments. We really do. So whatever you can give is appreciated. All right. So we had a meeting on May 17th. And so we just have to approve the minutes. Do I have... Well, first before... Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have any comments, changes, comments, corrections? Okay. All right. So do I have a motion? You have Nancy. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Joy. All right.
You can see how efficient.
Yes. So we approve the minutes. All
And
right.
did they have a vote?
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? All right. Okay. So we want to keep this moving. So the next thing is to talk about our financials. And Joy's going to give us an update.
We're very blessed and very, very fortunate that we have a great balance sheet. You've got it in your book, and this is from 2017. 2018 is starting out strong. We have only the monies that you give us and that other people give us. We're not state funded, we're not federally funded. We're Siemens supported. But we're grateful for all the support we get and all the help. And because of all of you, we're able to have a balance sheet that is just lovely. It's just beautiful, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of Hal, and I'm proud of the good that we do.
So if you like a copy of the annual report, they're around the bank. You can grab a copy, and if you don't, stop by the office and get one. And I think it will be on our website shortly. Okay. So now, let's see, we're going to go to Elizabeth. She's going to give us a little update on Hal and what's going on. And then we get to the main attraction, why we're here.
Oh boy, that's my signal to be brief. Nobody came here to listen to me this afternoon, that's for sure.
All right, you're using your time. Come on.
Okay, less to say. Just have 3 things to do. With Mary Ann and the rest of the board, I want to thank everybody here for coming. That goes without saying. I want to thank all of our supporters, and you'll find them from last year in the annual report. Individuals, businesses, we've got foundations, we've got the 4 towns where we're located that support us. We do some amazing events, and we're grateful to the Drag Brunch. We have casino nights, we have a summer garden party, we have our annual lobster pot dinner, the Swim for Life, I have to say, we've been here. And thanks to Stop and Shop, we do at least twice a year a food drive at the Stop and Shop. And I'm going to just mention that on June 29th is a Friday afternoon from 3 to 6. We're doing another food drive, and it really puts a lot of food into our pantry. Behind Chris over there, there's a little, I don't know what we want to call it, stand-up thing that has all the upcoming events and the dates of the events and where they're going to be. So there you go, Vanna.
Nice job.
So if you take a look at that. Grants from Siemens Bank, thank you very much, Cape Cod 5, the Belzekian Family Foundation, and a number of others that support us. And I join also, Mary Ann, in thanking the board of directors for their leadership, their guidance, and their support. So I think we've already introduced our newest member of our Howe team, Amy Howell. We're very, very pleased that she's joined us. That is a critical position of our 3-person team. That's the person who meets with the clients one-on-one every day, many times a day, phone calls, emergencies, coordinates the transportation, does intake, emergency assistance. It's a big job, and Amy just stepped in and is making it look seamless. This year is the official 25th anniversary of helping our women. And 25 years, and in that time we've served nearly 1,000 women in the 4 towns that we serve. Anne will say more about that in her remarks.
Can I just say something? So Amy's not so new to Hal because she was a board member very early on.
That's right.
So she's come back home.
I'm going to be quick with this because the information is in the annual report. But we served more than 235 people last year. We gave 170 rides to 48 different individuals. This is to their doctor's appointments. This is to the grocery store. This is to Hyannis for a specialty treatment. And there are also trips that people get through the buses, the CCRTA, and thank you to Cape Air because they also provide air transportation from Provincetown to Boston. And a lot of people take advantage of that. Our stipend program for people who need extra financial assistance, we've provided 1,121 checks in 12 months. to 120 different women here who need that help. We've had more than 320 visits to the office. This is for stipends perhaps, or transportation. We do advocacy and referral work for other benefits. We help people get their applications in for fuel assistance. If somebody's having trouble with Social Security or disability, we're there to help them get through all that paperwork. And to the pantry. I haven't gotten to the pantry yet. And the pantry. Good. There is a new program that we began at the end of 2017, and that's part of the reason for Kat being there. She is coordinating that program. We're calling it Compass. And the letters stand for any number of things, but it includes companions, one-on-one support, assistance. And what the idea is, we have found through our work with our clients and some survey work we did, that there really is a sense of isolation among many of our clients. So we're trying to create activities that's going to reduce that and do some social interaction. And the key is going to be one-on-one connections with a client. Now we have people driving, and that's wonderful, but there are other things that folks would benefit from besides that drive. Maybe it's just sitting and talking about some IT stuff that somebody needs help with. We have a case. We have a case with that.
Doing that tonight.
We have one of our newer connections we made with a woman who is still suffering from serious cancer, and it's not going away. And she was really concerned, what are her next steps? And we had a new volunteer come in who just happened to be a retired oncologist. Oh, wow. We put the two of them together, and they've been meeting and talking, and they're getting the client's getting some real support from that. So it's just a couple different examples, but to do this, we need more volunteers. It's like beating you over the head, but really, if you have a few hours a week or a few hours a month, we really could use that help for a variety of things. Transportation is important. It's getting so that we have to actually pay for transportation because we don't have enough drivers. Yeah, and that's getting expensive. So, anybody's interested, Kat will be here to take your name or call her at the office. Looking forward, I think moving this Compass program forward is going to be an important task in the coming year. Trying to find other ways of connecting with our clients and connecting with the community. So, how can you help? How can you help? Spread the word. We need people to know about helping our women. This is our 25th anniversary, but there are still people out there who say, what is helping our women? So, if you're here, you know something about helping our women. If you can spread the word and encourage other people to go to our website, read about us, and get on our mailing list, our e-blast list, that would be wonderful. So spread the word. I'm going to mention the V word again. Volunteers. That's how you can help. That's how you can help. It also will be helpful if you have ideas about things that maybe your neighbor needs or a relative needs or something that you think how can get involved in. Give us a call, send an email. We'd love to hear from you. So I'm going to cut the rest of my 20-minute presentation short. So yes,
got my vote.
thank you all for coming. Think about volunteering. Check out our activities, our events coming up, and thank you all again.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask Anne McGuire. Yeah, there was somebody I used to know. Anne McGuire to come up and to speak about Leslie McGrath, who are going to.
Oh boy.
Well, we're all here tonight and welcome.
And be nice, please.
In this crowd, I will be. known Leslie for a long time. We met in like 1972. Wow. Of course, we were only
teenagers.
But we're here to present the second annual Betty Valarie Community Service Award.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we're here. I want to tell you a little bit about Leslie, the Leslie I know. As I said, we met each other in 1972 and developed a wonderful friendship that has lasted all of these years. I've been very blessed with that. In 1975, I did a little bar here in Provincetown called Sisters. Oh, yeah. And the first person I hired was Leslie McGrath. And a couple of years later, I did a bar in Boston called Somewhere. And the first person I hired was, guess who? And I ran it until the end of '82, and then you took it over and called it Somewhere Else. Creative. It was really a wonderful space, and basically, in many respects, it was about community. And we did, by the way, a little reunion last summer here at Town Hall, and about 500 of you showed up. Leslie came to Provincetown in the end of the '80s. And when she came here, one of the things she did in 1990 was open Recovering Hearts. And Recovering Hearts is all about community. People go into Recovering Hearts, they have a question, they have a whatever. Leslie just takes them and talks with them and whatever. So it's much more than a store where you can buy some different stuff in it. What you get in there is love and friendship and everything else. And I treasure her for that. Absolutely. Let me just make sure I want to make it all, you know? Leslie, by the way, started the first roundup here in Provincetown, which is it's an annual event that for folks who are in recovery, and it is treasured to come here for a week. And what better place to come but than to Provincetown? In 1992, it was a young woman named Ginny Shakespeare who had cancer. And there was no how there. There was nothing. But you know what? There were a few good women. And Leslie sort of took her aside. She just needed friendship. She needed help. She needed rides. She needed just someplace that she could go and sort of be okay. And Leslie took her aside, and with a couple of other friends, they started How. And what a wonderful place to start, wonderful institution to start. And not only did she just start it like, we're going to do How, they raised money, so there would be money in the institution. And I don't know why I'm calling it an institution. She even got the phone number for How. I just want you to always remember, 487-HELP. So she got the phone number for that.
Too cool.
I know.
It took 3 hours to get a good number.
All the years since that time, Leslie has done community service in so many ways. Whether it's through Recovering Hearts, whether it's through How, whether it's through whatever it happens to be. I think she even did something for the Swim for Life. Do you all know Jay Critchley? And has just done so many things for so many people. When we talk about giving a community service award, we want to give it to somebody who has really spent their life doing community service. So Leslie, it is my honor. Thank you for all that you've done. And I want to present the second Betty Valarie Community Service Award.
Nice.
We have two other things that I want do before we hear from you.
It's coming.
What's coming?
Leslie's gonna.
Leslie, who works for Senator Julian Sear.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm also a Provincetown resident. I want to thank Hal. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Ann and Leslie. Thank you for this opportunity to present these wonderful citations. I'm doing one on behalf of Senator Sear. He's going to try to make it, but as you see, he hasn't made it yet. And secondly, Sarah Peak would have been here, Rep. Peak, but she's up in Boston in a formal session. So, without further ado, Leslie, you're very special. It's clear that you are with everyone here. From the House of Representatives, I'd like to say for you, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Leslie McGrath in recognition of receiving the Betty Valarie Community Service Award for being a founding member and a dedicated volunteer of helping our women. And it's signed by the Speaker of the House and by Representative Sarah Peak. And we have a proclamation now, or citation from the Massachusetts State Senate. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Leslie McGrath in recognition of your Betty Valarie Community Service Award, honoring your work as a founding member and dedicated volunteer of helping our women.
Wow.
It is signed by the Senate President Harriet Chandler. It's the Clerk of the Senate, William Welch, and Senator Julian Sear. Congratulations.
Don't get nervous. I left 20 pages at home. I've spoken many times in front of groups, and I always thought I would remember everything I wanted to say. And then I'll see someone, and I'll forget what I was talking about, and then I'll start talking about them. But this time, I'm in a room of sheroes and heroes, and I wanted to make sure that I included what was really important. So first, friends, family, and the Howe community, thank you for this honor. A special thanks to all the women who said yes in the beginning, and the women and men who continue to say yes. And to Siemens Bank. It's difficult to follow in the steps of Betty Valarie. She was standing here being honored just last year. Yeah. She's loved by this community. She is truly missed and an unforgettable P-Town hero. Speaking of heroes, her loving kindness is infinite. I met Ann over 40 years ago. I had been struggling with coming out with a very Catholic mother who wanted me to go to heaven, and lesbians didn't go to heaven. And she didn't care about life on earth. She cared about the million years later, and she wanted me. Now, I carried a lot of shame when I met Ann. She welcomed me with open arms, made me feel worthy and lovable, and helped me turn my shame into pride. And invited me to join her as she created a meaningful space for women and their friends to dance and mingle. She helped to create communities within the communities. We had all kinds of teams, we had cruises, we had, she kept me really busy. Everyone was welcome and treated with respect and kindness. She also taught me to remember, I am not better than anyone, and no one is better than me. Right. That we all need a welcoming community. So she went into her politics, I kept dancing and drinking. I left Boston to come here and open a bar. After years of struggling with alcohol and drugs, I ended up getting sober. That's a miracle. I had no intention of getting sober. I wanted to get off cocaine, but I did not. I love my drink. So I'm sober, and now I'm working at the union. Now I've gone from a bar to a church. I'm working at the union. And of course, I volunteered at the AIDS support group, the PASG. What an amazing organization. I mean, I drove clients to Boston. I sat with people when they struggled. I did shopping. I did all kinds of things. And I thought, this is quite the community. I'm looking at Jay, my favorite in this community. When this one was diagnosed with breast cancer, I would see her on the news all the time. You know, there she is. And instead of sitting home, she's out there starting the Mass Breast Cancer Coalition, Silent Spring, and doing all these wonderful things for people, doing a lot of research and information on breast cancer. We kept in touch. I really saw her on the news a lot when she was the shelter commissioner, when we were always on the news.
Ran Menino's campaign.
Oh, and Menino's campaign, of course, you and Menino. I was starting to wonder about you two for a while. And it did. I opened Recovering Hearts because a lot of people were struggling with addiction. I didn't even know about alcoholism until I came here. I thought all alcoholics lived in the Bowery and they wore trench coats. I had no idea that us successful drunks were called alcoholics. But anyway, so I got a lot of books on pain, healing, trauma, but most important on love. And then on July of 1992, I got that call. Jenny Shakespeare called me, and she needed a ride to a practitioner. And I had a store full of people. I was working alone, and everybody I called was busy. And I said, I remember thinking, driving home, like, wow, I've been hearing about all these people being diagnosed with cancer. Friends of friends, family members. And I thought, I think there's something alarming. There's something really terrible going on. So I went home, I talked to my partner, who was Liz Grant at the time, and who was very, very, very committed to helping our women. And then when I came to town, everybody I met, if I met you on the street, I was like, hey, would you like to be a part of helping our women? We're going to start this organization. So my mouth is so dry. Is that panic or what? But anyway,
You like Diet Coke?
I got sprayed. The sugar, it's okay. So, oh, Kim, thanks, honey. Wow. I thought we as a community needed an organization with the mission statement like the Provincetown AIDS Support Group. So I went there and I got their mission statement. It was pretty easy to follow. We would have resources, support, and on and on. And then Betty and Dottie and I had our first meeting at Joy's Lobster Pot. We sat there and we planned we invited anyone in the community to come to be part of this organization. And I think there was over like 30 people showed up. And they all wanted something different. They wanted housing, they wanted convertibles. It was like, oh my God, this is going to be fun. But it was fun. And oh my goodness, where am I? Okay, this is the last page. And then Barbara Edwards walks into my store, and she tells me that one of her bartenders had committed suicide and jumped off the pier when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she and her husband donated that space. So now we had a group, we had an office, and Liz got all her Welfletian friends to put the first auction on, and we had $20-something thousand before we became a nonprofit organization. This was all the year before it started. Okay, the rest is history. The organization, hundreds of women have been helped, and now I hear over 1,000 women have been helped, supported and loved through their journey and healing. I am so grateful to be a resident of this town, the town with a huge heart, one that never stops loving. one other thing. Just in case you ever talk to me on the street and you talk about the weather and I start telling you about a movie I saw, please know that I am deaf. I have a rare bone disease called automyosis, and it has shut down one cochlea, and it's trying to shut down the other one, but I won't stop listening. I've got about that much of a gap, so I usually don't hear a lot. But if you just let me see your lips, then I'm really happy. But you know how we're queens, right?
Yes.
We're queens. Okay, now I read this, I got a magnet in the store and I love this. Now if anybody knows the answer, don't say it. What is a queen without a king?
I don't know. What is
Historically more powerful.
Just wanted to acknowledge one person in the back there, Senator Julian Sear.
And my staff in the back corner. All my sisters are here. All 7 of them. And I personally thank each and every one of you for all you've done for this community. I know so many of you always show up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Leslie, you finally know what you become. Remember Hey Sarah? Hey Sarah? Yes. Our mothers used to sing to us all the time. Hey Sarah, Sarah.
Whatever
What will be.
Whatever it will be. How exciting. If I sing that well, Leslie.
She said to me, hey, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Hey, Sarah, Sarah.
Tough act to follow. Tough act to follow. I once learned that if you don't say thank you 7 times, you're not really saying thank you enough. So that's what I want to say. I did not mention when I was banging on the volunteers that we have volunteers here today that I just want to have them raise a hand. I have Priscilla Jacket. Yay! Leslie McGrath. Hey! Dave Crawford. All right. Tracy Primavera. Tracy's still here? Oh, yeah. Barbara Wood. Barbara Wood, right here. And we have a volunteer emeritus here in Diana Hardy. Yay! And have I missed anybody?
No.
Yay! All right. Enjoy the rest of the food. Sit around, chat, and have a good time, and look at the board and see what kind of events we have coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.